The cargo ship was old, dirty, and filled with metal crates stacked like forgotten memories. Cole had been hired to clean out the back section before it got scrapped. He didn't care much about junk, just wanted his pay and to be left alone, but then he heard a sound, not a machine sound, not a rat. It was soft, like breathing or crying. He stopped, turned on his torch, and walked deeper into the shadows. There, tucked behind broken chairs and spilled fuel, was a crate. It wasn't labeled, it wasn't logged in the ship's manifest, just sitting there, silent and dusty. The side was cracked open like someone had pried it with force. Cole knelt down and looked inside, and his breath caught in his throat. A girl. No, not human. Alien skin, light purple with soft patterns like faded tattoos, big dark eyes that blinked at the sudden light. She was curled up like a doll tossed away. Her body was thin, too thin, and her legs were missing. Not cut off, not bloody. Just never there. Just smooth skin where thighs ended into nothing. She didn't speak. She just stared at him, calm but scared. Cole looked around. No cameras. No one watching. His voice came out hoarse. "Who left you here?" She didn't reply. A small tag around her neck read in bold alien letters, "Defective, not breeding material, dispose." Cole felt his stomach twist. They had left her here like garbage. Not because she was dangerous, not because she was sick, but because she couldn't breed, because she had no legs. She was breathing, blinking, alive, but they saw her as trash. He stared at her, then at the crate. It was cold. Metal. Sharp at the edges. How long had she been here? Hours, days? Her skin was dry. Her lips cracked. But she didn't beg, didn't cry. Most would have turned away. Most would have reported her and gone home. Cole didn't. He reached in gently. She flinched but didn't pull away. His arms wrapped around her light body. She felt like paper, fragile but warm. He whispered, "I'm taking you out of here." The ship owner saw him carrying something. "Hey, what's that?" "Scrap," Cole lied. "Looks organic, just bones." "Let me toss it." The man shrugged. "Suit yourself. Trash that smells like that belongs in fire." Cole kept walking, back at his small home on the edge of New Terra City. He laid her on the cleanest bed he had. The room was quiet. Except for her breathing, he gave her water. She drank slowly, carefully, as if learning how. She still hadn't spoken. He didn't ask questions, yet he watched her. Watched how she tried to sit up. Tried to hide her body with the blanket. She was ashamed. He could tell. The next morning, Cole opened his old workshop. Metal scraps, robotic arms. Broken androids, he had it all. He used to be an engineer before war ruined everything. Now, he just fixed farm tools and quieted old machines, but today, he had a different mission. Legs. She needed legs. Hours turned into days. He worked silently, only pausing to feed her, clean her, or just sit with her. She started whispering soft alien words. He didn't understand, but he listened. She'd point at things. Try to speak in broken English. "Why? Help me?" Cole would only reply, "You were alive." That was enough. Finally, after 5 long days, he lifted a small set of mechanical legs, lightweight. Simple, adjustable, not perfect, but a start. She looked at them with wide eyes, tears formed. He helped attach the straps, made sure nothing hurt. Then he took her hands. "Try," he whispered. She stood, shaking slow. But she stood, 2 metal feet on the dusty wooden floor, her mouth opened. No sound, just awe. She walked. 1 step, then another. Then she fell into his arms, laughing and crying at the same time. Cole held her, silent, outside. The world kept moving, but inside that room, something had changed. She was no longer a broken thing in a crate. She was someone, and someone had finally cared. He didn't know what would come next. Didn't care if they called him crazy. He just knew one thing. He had saved her, and in a strange way. Maybe she had saved him too. The sun rose gently on New Terra, casting golden light through Cole's cracked window. Inside the small wooden house, the girl stood by the wall. Her metal legs clicked softly with each uncertain move. She didn't say much, but her eyes said everything. She was learning step by step. Cole watched from the table. Holding a warm mug of synth coffee, he didn't speak. He didn't want to break the quiet victory happening in front of him. Every step she took was like a whisper to the universe. "I am not broken. I am alive." Her balance was shaky, arms stretched out for support. Cole had built the legs from old mining droid parts, strong, lightweight and smooth. He had no schematics for her alien biology. Just guessed based on feel, observation, and her subtle winces. Sometimes she fell, and every time she fell, Cole moved to help. But she always shook her head and tried again. That morning, she finally made it to the window. She touched the glass, staring at the soft trees outside. Birds flew by, creatures she had never seen before. She looked back at Cole, blinking. "What place?" she asked slowly, her voice rough but soft. "Home," Cole said simply. She turned back to the window, her lips moving. He didn't understand her alien words, but he heard something that sounded like hope. Later, Cole took her outside for the first time. The wind brushed against her face. Her body trembled, not from fear, but from too much feeling. She took a few careful steps on the grass. Her toes, mechanical and silver, sank slightly into the soil. She crouched, touched a yellow flower, soft. She whispered, smiling for the first time. That smile hit Cole like a hammer. Not because it was beautiful, though it was, but because it was real, he realized then. This was not just about walking. This was her first day truly living back inside. Cole cooked something simple, bread, eggs, and a strange pink fruit. She sat at the table, still not used to chairs. Every small thing, how to hold a fork, how to chew slowly, how not to spill, was new to her. She was like a child in some ways. But her eyes were old, tired, survivor eyes. Cole finally asked, "What's your name?" She looked up, then down, confused. "Name?" she repeated. He pointed to himself. "Cole," then pointed to her. "You?" She touched her chest lightly, unsure, then said, "Sorry." Cole smiled, repeating it softly. "Sorry." It suited her, gentle but strange, broken but full of hidden strength. That night, a small storm passed through the valley. Thunder cracked, and Zari flinched, Cole noticed. He moved to the couch where she sat and handed her a soft blanket. She held it like it was treasure. He sat beside her, not too close, and looked up at the wooden ceiling. "You were in that crate a long time, huh?" he asked quietly. She nodded. "Why did they leave you?" Zari hesitated, then spoke slowly, her words broken. "My people. We born to breed strong, perfect body. If not, we are trash." She looked down, touching her legs. No legs. No children. No worth. Cole's jaw clenched. "That's not true," he said firmly. She looked at him, her eyes glimmering with something new. Doubt, or maybe belief. "You don't need to make babies to have worth," Cole said. "You're smart, brave, alive, that's enough." Zari didn't reply, but she leaned her head against his shoulder, quietly, shyly, like a tired bird finally landing after a long flight. They sat like that until the storm passed. Her metal feet curled under the blanket, her breathing soft and steady. In that moment, Cole didn't see an alien. He didn't see a girl without legs. He saw Zari, a person, someone real, but in the shadows of the city. Not everyone felt the same down at the border post. A trader spoke into a comm screen. "I saw her. The defective one. With a human." The voice on the other end hissed. "Alive?" "Yes, walking." "Impossible." "Then come and see for yourself." The screen went black. And far, far away, in a metal chamber filled with cold faces and cruel eyes, a red light blinked on a map marked "Target recovered" back at Cole's house. Zari slept peacefully for the first time in her life. But danger had already started moving, and neither of them knew what price would be asked for the kindness Cole had given. But one thing was clear. She was walking now, and no one, not even her makers, could call her broken again. It started with whispers. People in the market stared. Some pointed. Some laughed behind Cole's back. Others looked with fear. "That's the human living with a defect," someone said. "She walks now." Another whispered, "That's not natural." Zari stayed close to Cole. Her hood pulled over her head, but she heard everything. She didn't speak, but she remembered every word. That night, Cole fixed an old heating unit inside their home. Winter winds were coming, and Zari's skin was cold like stone. She sat nearby, legs folded, trying to write letters in a notebook Cole gave her. He watched her with a small smile. "How's the English coming?" Zari looked up, smiled shyly. "Keep." "Good," she said slowly, then pointed to the heater. "You fix." "Warm heart," Cole chuckled, and something like that, but outside, the mood was changing. 3 figures stood in the dark alley near the house. Alien workers from the scrapyard, drunk, angry, loud. She's an abomination, one growled. She's not supposed to walk. And that human? He's disgusting. Sleeping with her like she's a real woman. Another one picked up a rock. Let's remind them what trash looks like inside. Zari was humming softly, an earth tune Cole had taught her, but then she froze, her ears twitched. Her body stiffened. She heard footsteps, breathing. Trouble. Cole noticed her sudden stillness. What is it? Zari stood. Something in her expression changed. Like a switch flipped. Stay, she said, and walked toward the door. Her steps were smooth now, confident. Metal feet clicking lightly on the wooden floor. Cole stood up to stop her. But she turned and gave him a look that froze him in place. Then the first rock hit the window. Glass shattered. Cole flinched. The second rock flew, but it didn't reach him. Zari was already outside. 3 aliens turned in surprise. They expected fear, tears. Instead, they saw her, standing tall on her mechanical legs, her eyes burning with fury, and in her hand, a sharp tool she had taken from Cole's workbench. You heard him, she said clearly. Her voice echoed through the street. You touch him again? I break you, one alien laughed. She speaks now? Another stepped forward. You're not real. You're a failed experiment, a doll with broken parts. Zari's face didn't change. She lifted the tool like a blade and pointed it at them. He made me real, she said, voice shaking but strong. You left me to die. He gave me legs, life, a name. The drunk aliens moved toward her. Zari didn't back down. They were bigger, stronger, but she had something they didn't. Purpose. When one of them tried to grab her arm. She moved fast. Her foot snapped forward. Metal toes striking the alien's knee. Crack. He screamed, dropping to the ground. Another lunged. She ducked under him, used her weight to push him into the wall. The third tried to grab her hair. But Cole ran out at that moment, swinging a metal pipe. Leave her alone, he shouted, the 3 attackers shocked by her fight. And now the human's presence ran off into the night, leaving behind blood and broken pride. Zari turned, breathing hard, her hands shaking. Cole reached her, eyes wide. Are you okay? Zari didn't answer. She stared at her hands. I hurt them, she said quietly. They were going to hurt you, Cole replied, placing a hand on her shoulder. You protected me. Zari looked up slowly. Did good? You saved me, Cole said, smiling. You did perfect, she smiled back, but it faded fast. They will tell others, she whispered. They will come. More. I know, Cole said, voice firm. But we'll be ready. That night, Cole locked the doors tighter, and Zari sat by the window, watching the stars. She didn't sleep. Not because of fear, but because for the first time she had something to protect. Someone to protect. She wasn't just walking now. She was standing tall. She was a fighter. Not for her own sake, but for his. And far across the city, on a screen glowing red, a command was issued. Defective subject Zari confirmed alive. Prepare retrieval. The next morning, sunlight touched the window softly. Zari sat cross-legged on the floor, metal feet neatly folded beneath her. She held a flower in her hand, not for smell, not for color, but just to understand it. Its soft petals, its short life, its beauty despite fragility. Cole cooked breakfast behind her, flipping something on a hot pan. The scent of earth spices mixed with new taro fruit. Want to try eggs today? He asked. Zari looked back unsure. What is eggs? Cole grinned, placing a plate in front of her. She sniffed, poked the yellow middle with her fork. It jiggled. She frowned. Is it alive? Cole laughed. Not anymore. She took a small bite, chewed, paused, then looked up with wide eyes. Warm sun. In mouth, she said seriously. Cole nearly dropped his coffee from laughing. That's one way to describe it. That was the first time Zari laughed too. A tiny breathy chuckle, awkward. Unsure, but real. It made Cole freeze, not because of the sound, but because it was the first time she wasn't afraid that day. They worked together in the yard. Cole showed her how to plant vegetables. Zari dug holes with her hands, placing small seeds in the dirt. Will these walk too? She asked, confused. Cole smiled. No, but they'll grow, slowly. Like me, she said softly. She learned how to operate simple machines. He taught her how to read signs, recognize letters. She practiced writing her name over and over on a scrap of wood. Zari. That evening they sat on the porch under a violet sky. Zari pointed at the stars. Your world is up there? Cole nodded. Yeah, far away now. Will you go back? He paused. I don't know. Maybe someday. She lowered her gaze, quiet. You don't like it here? I like it better now, he replied, glancing at her. She looked surprised, then smiled again, soft, real. The next few days, Zari began humming songs. She liked music. Earth music. Especially old ones. Melodies that made her feel things she didn't understand. Cole gave her an old radio. She hugged it like a gift from the stars. They danced once. It was awkward. Cole was stiff. Zari didn't know how. But in the middle of the room, surrounded by silence and soft light, they just moved. And laughed, but not everyone was laughing. In the city, more rumors had spread. A human living with a failed alien female. A defective with metal legs. Now laughing, walking, surviving. Some saw it as unnatural. Others saw it as illegal. One night, Cole walked into town for supplies. Zari stayed home. Painting with cheap colors Cole had found for her. He returned an hour later, bruised, limping. 3 of them jumped me, he said with a fake smile. I handled it, but Zari saw the blood. She saw his hand shaking. She said nothing, but that night, she didn't sleep. She worked in the shed silently, wires and parts all around, building something. For him. The next day, she gave it to him. A small defense drone floating like a balloon with attitude. Cole blinked, surprised. You built this? Zari nodded proudly. For walking man who breaks too easy, Cole burst out laughing. Is that a joke? Zari smiled wide, maybe. Then said it again in perfect English. You break too easy. And they both laughed long and loud, but across the sky. A ship entered orbit, dark, silent, watching inside it. Cold scientists studied her image, her health, her smile. She's not supposed to be this stable. She wasn't built to adapt. She was a throwaway. One voice stood out. Yet she walks, learns, builds. Even laughs, another voice added. Prepare to collect her, before it's too late. Back on the porch, Zari looked at Cole as he patched the drone with tape. Why are humans so kind? She asked suddenly. Cole thought about it. Not all are. Some are cruel. Just like your kind. Zari nodded slowly. But you gave me legs, a name, life. You gave me laughter, she whispered. Cole looked at her. And you gave me a reason to smile again. They didn't need more words after that. The stars above seemed to blink gently as they sat in silence for the first time. Zari wasn't trying to survive, she was simply living, but peace is a fragile thing, and someone out there was already on their way to take it from her. It happened quietly at first. A strange humming in the sky. Cole looked up from the garden. Wiping sweat from his forehead, Zari was nearby, sitting under the tree with a book in her hand. One she could now read herself, but both of them felt it. A sound like tension, stretching. Then the sky split with blue flame. A sleek silver craft dropped from the clouds. No markings, no flags, just smooth metal, black glass, and silence. Cole's heart sank. He didn't need to ask who it was. Zari stood up slowly, her metal legs clicking softly. Her book fell to the ground, forgotten, she whispered. They found me. The ship landed right outside their fence. Grass flattened beneath its heavy engines. Zari stepped back, but Cole moved forward. The door of the craft hissed open. 4 figures stepped out. Tall, sharp uniforms, clean skin, and colder eyes. The leader, a pale blue alien woman with red metal gloves, looked at Cole first. You are the human who took in Subject Z9. Cole frowned. Her name is Zari. The alien officer ignored him and held out a glowing tablet. By order of the Intergalactic Biocontrol Council, this unit is to be retrieved immediately. She was marked defective and unfit for independent survival. Her status has changed, which is a violation of system protocol. Zari stepped behind Cole, her voice shaking. I am not unit. I'm Zari. The officer looked at her for the first time, her eyes narrowed. You were not designed to speak like that, Cole raised his voice, and she's not a tool. She's not a machine. You abandoned her like garbage. She survived. She changed. She's more alive than any of you. Another officer spoke quietly into a communicator. Subject stable, language ability confirmed. Emotional response increasing. The lead officer took a step closer. This is not a discussion. She will be taken for testing. Your involvement will be erased. You were never meant to interfere. Cole clenched his fists. And what if I say no? The officer's expression didn't change. Then we use force. Zari stepped forward now. Her hand gently touched Cole's arm. I will go if... You heard him, she said, her voice full of fear and quiet power. But I don't want to go. I want to live here. Grow seeds, eat eggs, build drones. The lead officer tilted her head slightly. You've grown attachments. How interesting. Then she raised her hand. Prepare stun field. We take her now. The other officers moved in. Cole shouted, stepping in front of Zari. One of them shoved him back hard. He hit the ground with a grunt. Zari screamed, No! Her body moved faster than expected. She threw herself between Cole and the officers. A flash of energy cracked across her skin as the stun field activated. She cried out, but didn't fall. Her metal legs sparked but held firm. Suddenly, the drone she had built for Cole activated on its own. She had programmed it secretly, just in case. It zipped forward, firing tiny shock bursts at the officer's feet. Chaos broke loose, one officer fell, another shouted for backup. Cole pulled Zari behind the shed. Smoke filled the garden, alarms screaming from the ship. We have to run, Cole said. Zari shook her head. They will always find. Not safe now. We'll find somewhere else. A new place, tears ran down her face. I just wanted... Normal. Cole touched her cheek. You are normal, he said softly. You're more than that, you're amazing. She looked into his eyes. I'm afraid. So am I, he whispered. But I won't let them take you, never. Behind them. The officers regrouped. The drone was destroyed now. But the delay had worked. The lead officer stared at the shed with burning anger. Let's smoke them out. Then erase everything. As they prepared, something strange happened. Zari's body began to glow faintly. Her skin shimmered like soft light under her skin. Cole noticed it first. What is that? Zari looked confused. I don't know. It's new. She fell to her knees suddenly, holding her stomach. Cole panicked. Zari? What's wrong? Are you hurt? She shook her head, then looked at him, eyes wide, confused, frightened. I think... I'm pregnant, Cole froze. The world stopped for a moment. She wasn't supposed to be able to. She was defective. She was empty. She was a failed body. But life was growing inside her now. And everything was about to change. For her, for Cole, and for the empire that had thrown her away. Zari lay still on the small bed, her skin glowing softly under the dim light. Her breathing was steady, but her eyes stared at the ceiling, wide. Unblinking, she whispered again, I think I'm pregnant. Cole knelt beside her, holding her hand gently. His fingers trembled. It didn't make sense. She wasn't built for that. She wasn't even supposed to survive this long, but how? He asked, voice almost too soft to hear. Zari blinked slowly. I don't know. My kind. We are grown for only one purpose, to breed for others. If the body is not perfect, it is destroyed. She looked at her metal legs, then at him. I was called empty, broken. They never even tested me, just threw me away. Cole stood and grabbed the old medical scanner from the cabinet. He had fixed it long ago, but it still worked. He waved it gently over her body. The screen blinked twice, then confirmed it. Life detected. Embryo. 1. Hybrid signature. Cole's hand went numb. The device dropped to the floor. Zari sat up slowly, scared by his silence. Is it real? He nodded. Yes, you're really pregnant. Tears rolled down her cheeks, not from fear, but from shock. This was never supposed to happen. Cole sat beside her, stunned. You're the first, he whispered. A hybrid, part human, part alien, and alive, but outside things were already moving. The officers had picked up the energy surge from the shed. Bio readings were unstable, strange, and too advanced for a defective. The lead officer stared at the blinking data. This shouldn't be possible, one of her assistants said quietly. She's carrying a hybrid. That violates genetic law in 3 systems, another added. If the public finds out, it could destroy the entire breeding program. The officer clenched her jaw. She must be taken alive. The child must be studied. The human terminated. Back inside, Zari clutched Cole's hand. Her voice trembled. What will they do to me? Cole didn't answer. He already knew. They wouldn't let her live peacefully. They'd take her apart, cut her open, study her, and the child. He shook his head. I won't let them take you. Or the baby. That night they packed everything they could. A small bag. The scanner, some tools, dried food. Zari wore a cloak over her thin body. Her steps were slow, her strength fading slightly, but her eyes were focused. She had something to protect now. Cole knew one place. An old mining colony deep in the mountains abandoned years ago. No satellites, no surveillance, it was the only hope. As they slipped into the forest, the stars above watched in silence. Behind them, the officers broke into the empty house. They found the broken scanner, still glowing. Pregnancy confirmed. The lead officer's voice cracked like ice. This changes everything. In the deep forest, Zari stumbled. Cole caught her. Are you okay? She nodded, but her skin was pale. I feel strange, but strong. Her body had begun to shift. Whatever biology she once had was now reacting to the pregnancy. Bones strengthening, organs shifting, energy building. It wasn't just survival anymore. It was transformation. They reached a rocky hill where an old tunnel began. The entrance was blocked, but Cole had brought explosives. He cleared the rocks carefully. Zari leaned against a boulder, hand on her belly. I feel it. A heartbeat, she whispered. Cole turned, surprised. You can feel it already? She nodded, like light inside me. Not burning, just warm. Once inside the tunnel, they lit lamps. The underground shelter was dusty, cold, forgotten. But it was theirs now. Cole fixed a heater while Zari lay down, exhausted. He wrapped her in old blankets and sat beside her. She looked up at him. Will it be like me or like you? Cole smiled softly. Maybe both. Maybe something new. Zari's eyes fluttered shut. But just before sleep took her, she whispered, I want to be a mother. Cole. He didn't answer with words. He just held her hand until sleep came far above. The officer's report reached the high genetic court. The response came fast. Order execution team, the child must not be born. The threat must be erased, but it was already too late. Zari was no longer a failed experiment. She was the beginning of something the galaxy had never seen, and nothing would ever be the same again. The mountain winds howled outside the old mining tunnels. Snow fell softly across the rocky entrance. Covering tracks deep inside, warmth flickered from a small fire. Cole sat beside it, holding Zari's hand. She was in labor. Her body glowed faintly in the dim light. Sweat on her forehead, breath sharp and fast. Cole stayed close, whispering calm words. You're strong. Just a little more. Zari didn't scream. She gritted her teeth and fought the pain like a warrior. She had carried this child through fear, danger, and cold, and now she would bring it into the world no matter the cost. Hours passed, then a cry, soft at first, then louder. Cole stared in awe as Zari held a small creature to her chest. Not fully human, not fully alien, skin like soft lavender, tiny fingers, round dark eyes, alive. Zari wept silently. Cole knelt beside her, his eyes full. It's a girl, he said softly. Zari nodded, smiling weakly. She's perfect. In that moment, nothing else mattered. Not the warships, not the government, not the labels. Just the three of them, a family. But peace doesn't last long, not when systems built on control feel threatened by a single miracle. The tracker embedded long ago in Zari's back, forgotten even by her, had activated during the birth. Outside, 2 dropships hovered above the mountain, silent, watching. Inside, Zari fed the baby with trembling hands. She looked up at Cole. They are coming, she whispered. He nodded. I know. He had already set traps along the tunnel. Laser wires, mines, smoke bombs, but he also knew they wouldn't hold for long. They won't stop this time, he said. Zari's eyes darkened. Then we don't run, Cole looked surprised. We fight? Zari nodded, then looked at their baby. For her, hours later, boots echoed through the tunnel. Voices cold, weapons ready. They came in full armor. But Cole and Zari were ready. The traps slowed the attackers, flashes of light. Fire, smoke, collapsing rocks, but eventually, they reached the final chamber. Zari stood in front of the child, Cole beside her, holding a repurposed plasma cutter. I won't let you take them, he warned. The lead officer stepped forward. Step aside, human. That child is a violation of galactic law. Zari spoke now, her voice strong. She is a child, not a weapon, not a project. She's hope. The officer raised her hand. Her soldiers moved forward, but suddenly, Something happened. The baby began to cry, loud, echoing across the cave, and with her cry came a strange wave, a soft energy. Pulsing like a heartbeat, machines around them sparked, lights flickered, weapons failed. The soldiers staggered back, confused. "What is this?" The officer shouted. Zari held her child high. "She is not broken like me. She is beyond you. She is new." The baby's skin shimmered like light itself, a mix of life that no one had ever seen before. And the soldiers, frightened and unsure, began to retreat. They couldn't understand what was happening, but they knew they weren't in control anymore. Zari fell to her knees. Exhausted but smiling, Cole rushed to her, holding both mother and child. "She saved us," he whispered. Zari nodded. "No, you saved us. All of us." Months later, in a peaceful valley far from the reach of the stars, a small home stood beneath the sun. Fields of green, flowers blooming, and laughter in the air. Zari walked slowly through the grass, her baby in her arms. Her legs were no longer just metal. Cole had upgraded them with soft covers. Warm to touch, shaped to feel real, she didn't hide anymore. She didn't need to. People had begun to visit them. Other aliens, humans, even scientists who came not to harm, but to learn, to witness what had happened, to understand how something defective had become a mother. Some still judged, some still feared, but many more. Changed, Zari taught them. She spoke in schools. She showed them her daughter, strong, curious, kind, a bridge between two species, a living miracle. Cole built a clinic beside the house, helping others who had been thrown away. Injured droids, discarded clones, abandoned hybrids. Zari helped them walk again, just like she once learned. And every evening, as the sun dipped low, Zari, Cole, and their daughter sat on the porch watching the stars, no longer afraid of what might come from above, because now they had something stronger than fear. They had each other. They had family, finally.